Hello and welcome to Todd Talk, where insight meets inspiration. I'm your host, Todd Hiller, and I'm an author, speaker, and longtime community leader, here to guide you on a journey towards fulfillment and balance. In every episode, we'll explore ways to fill life's emptiness, helping you uncover practical tools to create harmony, purpose, and happiness. Whether it's thriving in your career, nurturing personal growth, or simply finding joy in the everyday, Todd Talk is your space for real conversations and actionable advice. So let's thrive together, personally, professionally, and beyond. This is Todd Talk, and I'm thrilled to have you here.
Hello, my friends. Happy Easter, and I'll be honest with you, I'm not feeling quite 100% today. You can hear it in my voice, I'm sure, and I don't always sound like this nasally, overemphasized version of my voice, I'm sure, is very pleasurable to listen to, but hang with me and stick with me for a while. I'll do the best I can to not struggle bus it too much. So this might be the first episode where rest isn't just the topic, it's also kind of the goal. And if you've followed along on the podcast for a while, you know I've talked about rest and about self-betterment and about taking care of yourself and conquering problems and all that kind of stuff. But today we're going to put that into practice because it really got me thinking when I was thinking about what my episode should be about, that sometime I think a lot of us get it wrong when it comes to resting. We wait too long to take a rest, and we wait too long to give ourselves permission to slow down, and it catches up with us. And maybe case in point right now, I'm sure some of you that know me are listening saying, yep, you've been doing too much and had a lot on your plate and didn't take time to rest, so it caught up with you, which is probably true. I'm going to just blame my kids because they brought it home from school. Can I do that? Is that okay? Can we just say that it's, I caught it from them? No, I'm just kidding. But so, most of us don't rest when we should, right? We rest when we're kind of forced into it. And this is something I've become a lot better at than I used to be. Years ago, I didn't rest at all. I was kind of one of the, I didn't go to bed till I was 30, and I'll sleep after everybody I know is dead because they won't need anything from me. So I've switched that mantra for sure. But this time it just caught up with me a little bit. And I don't think it was for lack of trying to rest or lack of resting. It was just, the little bit of a bug or the cold or whatever it is caught up with me. But the bigger lesson here, I think, is that we, as people, we have this habit of kind of pushing through and giving us saying, oh, we're going to be fine and we'll get through it and we'll rest later. We have a little bit of a sense of pride in being the person that keeps going, right? I'll rest after this, or I'll rest after that, or I'll rest next week, or, oh, I'm good. And knock on wood, thankfully, I don't get sick very often. I am a fairly healthy person. I have always managed to keep myself, I'm very blessed to say that I don't get sick very often, but I am today. But we treat rest like a reward as people, and that's, I think, where the mistake shows up and sometimes where we get tripped up and then the bad thing kind of happens, because rest is not a reward. Rest is a necessary part of being human. We have to rest, we have to sleep, we have to take the time to just unwind and let our bodies decompress. And whatever you're coming down from, whether it's adrenaline from playing a sport or being in an active situation, or whether it's just being hyped up because you had a busy day at work, or you've been kind of strung out because you've been going from one thing on your to-do list to the next, whatever it is, we have to kind of come down from that and give ourselves not only a chance to physically rest, but also mentally rest and unwind, and not stand in our own way when it comes to saying, oh, we have one more thing to do before I can rest, or just one more thing to do, I should rest. Because when that happens and you keep pushing through, exhaustion will come knocking, and your body will say, hey, guess what? You didn't take time to rest, so now I'm going to force you to rest because we don't have any other choice. I need to heal. I need to get better. So guess what? I'm taking over now. Your body's going to say, I'm in control, and it's going to force you to rest. And that doesn't always show up at the most opportune times. This is being released. This episode will be released on Easter, and I'm recording it actually on Easter morning right now. It is Easter right now. And so I don't want to feel this way for Easter. I'd rather be able to enjoy the time with my family and not feel a little run down and worn out and nasally and all that kind of stuff. But here we are. Now, the good news is I don't feel all that bad. The bad news is I have all this junk kind of congestion stuck in my head, and it makes me sound terrible and makes me kind of, have to blow my nose and whatever. So my body says, hey, dude, even though you don't feel terrible, you don't get to feel your best because maybe you didn't slow down enough. And I don't think this time it was for lack of trying, but it might have been a little bit. But I think the bigger lesson is there's lots of times in our lives we can look back. I know at least I can, and I'm sure most people listening can. you've had this time in your life where you push through something, some type of exhaustion. I've been on fire calls where I've been like, you know what, I've already been up for, 20 hours and now I'm on a fire for 4 or 5 hours. Like, this is pretty tough. But you have to push through because that's in that situation, that's what was required of me. Or a long stretch of work. If anybody has kids and you remember the newborn days, or you're in the newborn days where they are always awake and they're always hungry and you don't sleep very much. You sleep a couple hours here or there. You sleep standing up when you can. You sleep leaning up against the refrigerator trying to dry the dishes. Like, wherever you can sneak some work in or sneak some rest in. And we've all done that, I think, at least to some extent. But what we moved past, when you're past the newborn stage and when you're past the difficult fire call in my case, or you're past a long stretch of work, we have to give ourselves time to rest and recover from that. And I have another episode about it's okay to ask for help, right? Give yourself permission to ask other people for help. You don't have to do every single thing by yourself. And hopefully there are people in your life that can show up for you and you can kind of balance things out and show up for them. And it can be a give and take, whether it's with work or with children or with family or with whatever the case may be. And in the back of my mind, even in these long situations, right? The tough fire call, the long night, I used to plow snow too for the state of Connecticut, and we would be at work and plow snow for 3 days at a time. Literally, we'd sleep in 3-hour increments on a cot somewhere in a conference room or a break room or the locker room. Or, literally, sometimes we'd set a cot up in the shower because it was nice and quiet because nobody was really using the locker room at 2:30 in the morning. So we slept when we could, and I remember all that. I have not forgotten, I promise. But now that I'm in a different situation, I still sometimes have to remind myself to, hey, pay attention to the quiet warnings, the little signs. Don't ignore them. When you come home and you're like, oh, man, I really just want to sit down and relax and do nothing for a little while. If your body's telling you that's the case, you should probably listen to it and rest instead of saying, oh, but I'm going to get back up and do X, Y, and Z because I have more stuff to do. So in this case, my body didn't fail me. It warned me, it said, hey, listen, we don't feel our best. You should probably get lots of sleep. And again, and I'm not trying to defend myself in this specific instance. But like even in this case, like I made sure I got to get some sleep. I got to make sure I go to bed early, and I did. However, I still worked a full day at the fire school yesterday on Saturday. I was still outside throwing a soccer ball with my son. I was still, doing stuff and trying to just be an active part of my community and my family because I didn't want to be, missing all that stuff. So we have to listen to what our body tells us to do, right? We have to kind of reframe rest and shift our mindset into knowing that it is not a weakness. Rest is a maintenance item. It's preparation for the big day. It's preparation for feeling better. It's preparation for the things you have to get through if it's a long work day or the work week that's coming up because it's a weekend. And rest is proactive. It's not reactive, right? We need to make sure we remember to rest early, and reactive rest means we're reacting by saying, oh, I don't feel great. Now I need to rest, right? The event has happened. I've gotten sick. I don't feel good. I feel worn out. I feel burned out. I feel stressed. I feel overwhelmed. I feel depleted. Now I need to rest, right? That's reactive rest. We have to really shift that to proactive rest and say, hey, I'm going to find a way to make sure I'm always feeling my best, and that makes me able to have this sense of sustainability and clarity and longevity in what I need to provide for myself and the things I need to check off my to-do list and show up for my job and my family and my friends and my loved ones and all that kind of stuff. So we really need to learn to be proactive about it. And I know it's difficult. It can be really, really tough. And another thing to note is you don't have to earn rest. This is something that it took me a very long time to realize and to think of. I used to think, I haven't really done enough to be tired, or I haven't done enough to rest yet. Like, I shouldn't be tired. I have so much more to do. Like, I can't take a break now. And when it comes to farm chores growing up, or even farm chores now, or work, or plowing snow, or the fire service, or whatever it is, sometimes I still have to battle back this mentality of like, hey, you know what? I haven't earned a rest yet. And this is especially true for high performers and caregivers and people with a servant's heart. I think we really get settled and stuck in this mindset that we have to earn the time and the ability to rest. And that's not really the best mindset to have, because then you end up depleted and then you're looking for that reactive rest. Because, if you only rest when everything is done, you'll never rest. If you are a person in this world, and if you're an adult, whether or not you have kids, like we all will always have things to do. That's the best or the worst thing about adulting, whatever way you want to look at it. We will always have things to do. We will always have a life to show up for. There are always people to talk to, people to help, people to serve, family to spend time with, things to do, a job to go to, dishes, laundry, kids' sporting events, you name it. The list is endless. It's going to go on and on. And that really is one of the beautiful things about life, is that when we can celebrate having people in our life to show up for and having family to spend time with, like, that's a beautiful blessing. And so we just have to balance that and remember that we have to rest when we need to and not just end up really, really worn out and depleted because we thought that we had to earn every little bit of rest before we ever took it. And I'm sure some people are thinking, well, how do I do this? Like, I'm a really busy person. And I get that. I am too. I understand the busy. I'm a lot less busy now than I used to be, but I still understand the busy and the go, and the lots of things to take care of. But you can do small pauses, micro doses, right? Take 10 minutes. Literally, set your watch or set your cell phone and a timer and sit down or lay down. 10 minutes. You'd be amazed what 10 minutes of stillness and quiet can do. Not looking at your phone, not scrolling social media. Just set it down, close your eyes if you want to, and just rest. Let your body slow way down. And now, more than 10 minutes is preferable, but if all you have is 10 minutes in amongst your busy day, take it. Make the time to rest. Otherwise, your body's going to give up and say, I have to do this for you. And, sit down when you do this. Don't just say, okay, I'll take 10 minutes and I'll be quiet and I won't look at my phone, but I'm still going to do the dishes, or I'm still going to walk around the kitchen and sweep, because that's not all that difficult. That's still not all that helpful, right? So sit down, step away from whatever task you are doing, take some big, easy, deep breaths. And while you're doing this too, another good step is listen to the early signals, right? If you start to get irritable, or you start to feel fatigued, or you start to say, man, I cannot focus. I've been staring at this page of work for the past 20 minutes, and I still can't make any sense of it. That is probably your body and your brain's way of telling you, hey, you need to take a minute and pause and breathe, because, these aren't inconveniences. They're innovations that your brain has created to tell you, hey, listen, we're giving you all these signs that you need to rest. Something else you can do if you are a calendar person and a write it down or a can't happen person, schedule your rest. I heard an amazing story once of a guy who, very rich and successful business person, he, on his calendar every day, he put in an hour to play video games. And his wife was like, why? What are you doing? Like, what, you have so much work to do. And he's like, right. But if I don't do this, he's like, I will think about this all day. And he's like, and it will make me mad and resentful that I didn't have time to do this. And I'll be mad all day, and it will take a toll on everything else I'm trying to do. Rest can be the same thing. Rest is important. If you are someone who has to write it down or it won't happen, put it on your calendar. 15 minutes, 20 minutes, half hour, whatever you can pencil in, whatever you have time for. Put it on the family calendar, write it on the whiteboard, whatever it is. Make time to rest. If you want to schedule it, then schedule it. If that's the type of person you are and that's going to be helpful, then do it. Because scheduling it kind of makes it feel like a responsibility. We have all these other responsibilities that we have day to day that we show up for, our jobs, our laundry, our kids, right? Our family. The list is endless, goes on and on and on. So if you add resting to your list of responsibilities, put it on there and then take the time to do it. Make that one of the items you need to do. Because if you don't, like I said, you're going to end up worn out and depleted and be, backpedaling for that reactive rest to say, oh, now I'm worn out and I have to try to find some time to rest or sleep. The other tricky part about that is reactive rest takes a lot longer than proactive rest, because once you already feel really down and out, then you have to rest a whole bunch to try to recover and maintain, get back to where you were feeling good, as opposed to if you do it proactively, you can kind of maintain this really easy feeling of, or not easy, but this feeling good and like things are easy to accomplish as you go along throughout your day. When you don't take the time to rest and you say, now I have to battle all the way back, you have such a longer time to rest and recharge. If your cell phone battery's at 46% and you plug it in, 15 minutes later, you're good to go for the rest of the day. If your cell phone battery's at 1%, guess what? You got to leave it plugged in a lot longer for it to be useful for you for the amount of time remaining that you want to rely on it. Right? We have social batteries, we have physical batteries, we have batteries that say, hey, you only have this much energy to work with during the day. Make sure you're using it wisely and you're recharging when you need to. And so today, I am going to do a couple things to do my best to not wait to rest. But the tricky part is that I didn't wait until I felt ready to rest. I kind of said, well, I'll keep going because I don't feel too bad. And then all of a sudden I woke up and I was like, now I need to rest a lot. But I know I need it now. I know I need the rest. So this will probably be the shortest episode I've published ever, maybe, or in a very long time. But that is probably mostly because I'm going to go take some time now to be quiet and have some downtime and rest before my busy day of celebrating the holiday starts. So if you take anything from this episode, please hear me when I say you don't have to hit empty before you stop. And you don't have to break down before you slow down. You can fill up your gas tank of your vehicle, or you can recharge your vehicle if it's in an EV. You can do that before it's all the way down to zero. You don't have to wait until you break down and you say, hey, I literally can't go any further because I have nothing left. You can refuel yourself. And actually, that's a really good analogy. Now that I said that out loud, that's a great way to think about us as people. I don't think anyone here waits for their car to run out of gas or run out of charge and literally stop dead in the road and then think, now I guess I better recharge my battery or get some gas. And if you think about this in the literal sense as it relates to us, how much more difficult is it to charge your vehicle or get gas when you're stopped dead on the side of the road because your vehicle died? Now we have to walk or call someone for a ride or find a way to get a gas can to fill it back up. It is a lot more effort and takes a lot more steps and a lot more time to fix the problem, to fuel back up the vehicle or to recharge the vehicle to get it so we can use it again. We as people are the same. If you wait until you have nothing left, if you wait until you are at absolute zero and you stop all forward motion, now you really need to take a whole lot of time and effort and steps and maybe even help from other people to get back to where you can function and keep right on going. Whereas if when you were cruising down the road and you were like, oh, I got 50% charge left or 40% charge left, or I got a third of a tank of fuel left, it's time to go fill up so I don't run into a problem later. We can do that as people too. Maintain your energy level, maintain your level of rest so you don't end up broken down, depleted, and looking for a way to figure out how you're going to get moving again. My friends, I'm wishing you a wonderful, wonderful day today. Happy Easter. No matter how you celebrate, I hope you have a fantastic day, whether you spend it with family, friends, by yourself, taking some quiet moments, or you spend it actively outside doing something. However you celebrate, wherever you are in this world, I appreciate your time very, very much. Thank you so much for listening, and have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care. Thanks for tuning in to Todd Talk. If you've liked what you've heard, please go ahead and subscribe and follow along so you don't miss any updates or new episodes. Thanks very much and enjoy the rest of your day.